Hello YouTube, this is the Coupon Nut. I'm not doing any couponing today. Instead, I'm making me some homemade chicken noodle soup. This is going to be completely from scratch. I'm taking 5 or 6 chicken breasts. I'm going to boil them. Once they're nice and boiled and done, I'm going to save the water. I'm going to let them cool, and then I will come back to you and show you the rest of it. Like I show you here, it's just before 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm definitely starting this early. It's just an all-day affair for the fact that it's not time sensitive. I don't have to worry about that with the kids. I can make it in parts, and then just whenever we're ready to eat, I'll throw it all together. So I'll come back to you with more. Okay, now I'm going to add, this is to just the regular boiled water, whatever I had left over. I'm going to go ahead and add 32 ounces of the chicken broth. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of chicken soup base, and then 1 teaspoon of dill. And I'm just going to let that sit in there, stir it up, and then here in a little bit I'm going to dice up that chicken and put it back in this seasoned broth with, I'm going to add 1 can of drained corn, just regular corn, drain it, throw it in this pot as well. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and make the noodles here in just a minute. Okay, here I'm going to go ahead and make the noodle recipe. And basically, like I said, everything's coming from scratch. That's 2 cups of flour with just a dash of salt mixed in with it, stirred in. Over here, I have just 2 regular large eggs and 4 tablespoons of milk mixed together. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the dough. And we're going to mix it together until we get a pretty good stiff dough consistency, and then we're going to cover that for 5 minutes with a towel, just letting everything set, and then we'll go from there. I'll show you once I'm done mixing this together. Okay, now here we have the dough. It's all mixed together. I did have to add a 3rd egg white, just the egg white. I separated the egg yolk out of it and just added a little bit of the egg white to it. I think I maybe used a little bit too much flour. If you're not completely right on, you just may have to add just a little bit of it. It's no big deal. I'm going to go ahead and throw the towel over this right now, and we're going to let this sit for 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to go ahead and flour up a good surface of this counter here and get out the rolling pin and flatten it out into a nice big sheet, and then we'll cut up, after it sits for a while, we'll go ahead and cut up the dough, making it into strips for the chicken noodle soup. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm dicing up some of this chicken right now. I still have, down at the other end of the counter is my my noodles. They're still sitting there. But while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and dice up this chicken. As I showed here, really all you're doing is just dicing it up as thin. The more shredded look it gets, the better it actually tastes. It's not like you're eating clumps of chicken. It's more of a shredded chicken feel. So you want to make sure you can you end up with the consistency that you like. We've just found out over trial and error that there's sometimes I made it too chunky and it turned out that it didn't taste as well. So shred the chicken as much as possible. It'll just come out with a better consistency at the end. Okay, so now we're going to start making these noodles and pressing them out. I got a nice big surface area that I've got nice and floured up. I'm going to take this out of here. We're going to roll it out nice and flat. Can't really do 2 things at once, so once I get it nice and rolled out, I'll go ahead and show you the finished product here. But really all you're doing is taking this from out of the bowl. You're going to go ahead and start rolling it out with a rolling pin, adding flour, adding flour, adding flour. You just wait it does not stick to the countertops. That way you can cut it later and go ahead and put it in your soup. Thank you. Okay, here we go. I'm going to be real quick about this one here. This is the rolled out dough. You see I just got a little bit of flour left over, but you use plenty of flour, roll it out. I'm going to lay a towel over this, let this sit. You can let this sit for the longer the better. 2 hours is what I'm shooting for. Like I said, it's 9:40 right now, and I'm shooting to maybe have this done for a little after lunch. I might eat a late lunch and have this instead of having a normal lunch today. We'll see what happens. Okay, now I did go ahead and double my recipe here on my noodles, but if I was just to have this one batch, it wouldn't be bad. But I went ahead and cut these up. As you see, they're just little thin strips of noodles. I cut some a little bit larger than others, and then you can see I made this one just a little bit thinner comparatively there. So different size noodles are great. Even these edge pieces, it doesn't really even matter. You're just going to go ahead and throw them all in. Now back over here to the boiling pot. As you guys could have probably noticed, I switched pots. Thanks to my mother-in-law, I got a bigger pot here. But what we're going to do with this, I've now put the corn and the chicken in here. It's been just sitting in there. The pot hasn't been on, nothing like that, so it's actually pretty cool now. I have already diced up my potatoes. I'm getting ready to start boiling them. I'm going to bring this broth to a boil and cut the strips. Of course, they're already cut. I'm going to add them a few at a time for 5 to 10 seconds in between after it comes to a boil. Once the noodles all have been boiled, once you get them all in this pot and they've been boiling for about a good 5 minutes, you're going to want to take, you're going to mix together some cornstarch, about 1/3 cup with some milk. And what you want to do is make a decent paste. It's still a little runny, but it's going to thicken up real quick. And you're going to add it to this pot, and that's where then it's going to kind of become the soup consistency. So the next time we'll be videoing here, I'm going to have the pot boiling, and we'll be adding some noodles. Alright, now we got the this broth here. It's now boiling pretty well. I've got a good handful of my noodles here. I'm just going to go ahead and place them in kind of one at a time. That way they actually get in there, and they're going to go to start boiling here. And after I add a good 10 to 15 of these, I'll go ahead and put the lid back on and let this boil. Just letting them all kind of cook in there. So we're going to go ahead and let that bring that back to a boil. As you can see also, my mashed potatoes here, they're nice and going. They're only going to boil for a couple more minutes, and then I'll take them off. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more here. Pretty much what's left in my hand. Now as we see, we got my mashed potatoes here. They're nice and boiling. You can see this has now come to a pretty good boil. Hopefully I don't get steam on the lens here. We're just going to keep them boiling. We're going to add the rest of these other noodles back here. As you see, we still got quite a little bit of noodles, and I'll get most of them in there. You just have to make the noodles to a consistency in the pot that you see fit. You see they're pretty easy just to come along here and just pick up. We're just going to kind of throw them in. As you can hear my daughter laughing over there. She's been my helper all day. Alright, back over here, and we'll get these put in the pot here real soon. Alright, as you guys can see, I used pretty much all my noodles. The only couple I didn't get in there. We go over here, now my messy kitchen here. You can see I turned down the heat. I ended up doing my cornstarch milk mixture, getting that in there. And as you can see, it's now got a nice creamy soupy mess. Not mess, but a mix. And my noodles, they're all still kind of pretty much together. So I've went from being on high and a nice boil to I've lowered it just a little bit below medium. I'm going to let this stew for just a little bit longer, and then I'll knock it down to real low just to keep it warm until we go ahead and eat. My mashed potatoes, they're done, but as you can see, it's really 12:30. So 3.5 hours it took to make this, and really this could be ready in about another 10 minutes. I got a get it ready for the wife, for her to go to work tonight. So I want to make sure I had it done in time. But all in all, it's done. It's ready. Mash up potatoes, serve it all over, a little salt and pepper, and a great, hearty, home-cooked, and ultimately a very cheap meal. If you pick up that chicken right there, you can pick it up for $1.66 a pound. Go ahead and pick up the flour, cheap. Everything else is seasonings, the corn. You can pick that up easily, very, very cheap. And I do know right now that this Argo cornstarch does have a coupon out. Not sure if it was a Red Plum or Smart Source, but you can pick that up. Potatoes, always easily to pick up any time of year at a decent price. But as you can tell, this is now just doing a nice little stew. And I'll keep stirring it to keep it kind of moving a little bit. But all in all, a little salt and pepper, and we're going to be cooking. We're going to be eating for a while on this. Thank you for watching. As always, subscribe, share, like, and pass the word.